What's up everyone, Doyler here, and it is finally time for my Void value analysis, gem cost comparison, and overall thoughts on Cores of Transcendence versus Heroic Scrolls, as well as give you guys some summoning rates here and there. This is going to be a very math-heavy video, so Chairman, feel free to pop out right now. Anyone else, definitely stick with me. There's going to be a ton of useful information. I'll include a link to my TLDR in the description if you just want to jump to that. So, first thing I want to cover is the summoning rate for the Compass of the Transcended. So, for those of you that have watched any of my earlier Void videos or anyone else's videos you know that you get to select one regular faction and one light and dark faction hero to be your goal hero, basically. So every time you do a Void summon, if you don't get this hero, their summoning rate increases, as well as the fact that their base summoning rate is higher than normal. So my Rogan started at 1%, which is much higher than his 0.125% normally. And every time I do not summon him, it goes up by 0.1%. Carry starts at 0.25% and goes up 0.025% each time. So this is a sliding scale. What the heck does it mean, and how many heroes can you expect? So, the light and dark hero, you are expected to summon 1.42% of the time. What that means is you're expected to get 4.2 copies of this hero every time you do a loop. So if you want 4 copies of Carry, you'll get her in about 300 loops, give or take. Rogan, or whatever non-light or dark hero you're expected to summon, his rate ends up averaging out to be 3.144%. What that means is you're expected to get about 9.5 copies of this hero during your 300 loop. So that means Barry's 14 Rogan pulls is indeed insane. Note that this assumption is based on A, DH Games not having any bugs in this summoning rate, and B, every time this rate increases, it decreases the total pool for the other heroes. So if Rogan goes up to 1.2%, I assume that their MIM is a 0.09% chance out of the 98% remaining, and so on. The 99.8% remaining, and so on and so on. Alternatively, what they could have done, if they were lazier, is there could be 2 separate rolls for Rogan. So there could actually be a 1.1 chance to get Rogan, then this pool is hit, and there's another 0.125% chance. That won't increase the rate a lot. I think you probably go up to like 9.8 expected copies of Rogan, but that would be a lazier way to code a function like this. So that's going to be it for the rate specifically. So let's jump into some spreadsheets. So first off, we have this real big spreadsheet that you probably can't read very well. That said, first of all, this is what I used to calculate the actual rates for your selected heroes. So column B is what the game says the rate is, and column C is what the actual rate is. Also, I have no idea why Amuvor has a higher rate than the other light and dark heroes, but I'm guessing they just ran out of numbers and had to add 0.01 to someone. The next important thing to note on this big spreadsheet is all of my upcoming math is based on valuing 6 light and dark heroes as useful or meta, and 8 non-light and dark heroes as useful or meta. That said, personally, I think the number is closer to 4 and 6. 6 being the 6 newest non-light and dark heroes, and 4 being Carrie, Drake, Russell, and really a 4th is sort of up to you at that point. But that said, I'm going to go with 6 and 8 because it increases the value a little bit, and it may be more relevant to some people in the mid-game stage of the game. Finally, column E is the expected value per Void summon for each of these heroes, which is going to sort of be what the next step is about. As you can see, I zoomed in on the right portion of the spreadsheet. Now what this does is break down the value you spend per Core of Transcendence, as well as the value you obtain per Core of Transcendence. So this was the first thing a lot of you had asked me about. So for every 1,500 gems you spend on a core of Transcendence, you get back only 588 gems worth of a hero. That means you're losing roughly 911 gems per core of Transcendence. That said, that means Voyage Shia, Swordflash Shia, on her own is going to cost you about 255,000 gems, assuming you only do 280 summons. So it's a bit cheaper than the 420,000, as it subtracts the value of the heroes. Note that this number will go up if you value less heroes than 6 and 8 respectively, and it will go down if you value more heroes than 6 and 8 respectively. So what this means at its core is if you only buy cores of Transcendence for gems, you have to value Swordflash Shia at 255,000 gems if you want to push for her. So, next up, I want to cover heroic summons versus void summons on a purely cost basis. So, if you start with zero heroic summoning scrolls and you start with 0 void summons, so 0 cores of Transcendence, that's really the only fair way to compare them. I know some people have said, well, you can save heroic summons for years. Yes, and you can do that years from now with void summons if it's still top of the meta. So, to max out 2,000 heroic summons will cost you $1,680 US versus the $1,870 US for void summons. Now, this is buying every heroic summoning package, as well as a few of the monthly ones you need to finish 2,000, and it's based on the 20 void summons being free from achievements, so some of the later ones will cost more. Alternatively, instead of that money, you can spend 235,000 gems or 420,000 gems. Again, based on the rewards you receive, so 1,880 scrolls or 280 void summons. In your 2,000 heroic summons, you will get 122 5-star heroes. Now this is converting the 4-star heroes you receive as rewards, the 8 copies you get from the event, and the effectively 2 5-star copies you get from the POs. Alternatively, the Void Summon event, you will get 300 5-star heroes, as you always get one from the event. As far as the specific heroes you are aiming for, during a heroic summoning event, you can expect about 8 to 11. I haven't fully done the sliding scale math recently, so it might be slightly off. That said, I see people sometimes complete them in 3 loops, sometimes take 4 loops, so I think 8 to 11 is roughly correct. Alternatively, the Void Summon event, you will get 13.7, so 13 to 14, copies of your desired hero. So that's both the Light Dark and the normal faction hero. As far as bonus rewards are concerned, the heroic summons, you're going to get 100 Eternal Crystals, 5 Soul Stones per loop, that's a slight typo, and 15 relics per loop. So it's actually going to be 60 relics and 20 of those Soul Stones. As opposed to Void Summons, where you're going to end up with, I want to say, roughly, I think this is a typo as well, no, 2.4 million Crystals of Transcendence. And this is a low estimate. I put 2.5 million, but based on Sorbitol, Barry, and GDP's videos, which I watched multiple times, 8,000 per summon is a low estimate. 8,300 is probably more likely, so I'm safe saying 2.5 million Crystals of Transcendence. Side note, this means that every time you do 2 full Void loops, you're basically going to get a free 3rd Void hero if you are buying them. So it ends up being a lot cheaper in the long run. Just the USD cost alone ends up being about $1,250 if you max out the event per Void hero, since it's effectively a buy 2 get 1 free with just the Crystals of Transcendence alone. So keep that in mind. What that means is, during a heroic summoning event, counting the additional rewards, it's going to cost you 1,926 gems for every 5-star hero you get, as opposed to the Void Summon, which will cost you 1,400 gems per 5-star you obtain. In a USD basis, this is about $13.77 versus $6.23. This means that starting from square one, a generic heroic scroll event is going to be worse than a Void Summon loop year-round. Now, this is ignoring special events like Christmas and Anniversary, and it is also assuming you start from square one on both. Obviously, you have had a longer time to save some heroic scrolls, but if you did all of your loops for ticks, you're going to have a lot less than you would for the next hero, and so on. Next up, I just wanted to quickly cover the gems for a 5-star, ignoring event rewards, just to break that down as well. So every heroic summon, you're expected to get 5/100ths of a 5-star hero. Again, counting 4-star heroes, as opposed to the Void Summon, we're expected to get 1. So it's about 7 times more expensive for a 5-star, gem-wise, in a heroic summoning event than it is during the Void Summon. I already covered that above with the breakdown, but I just wanted to break it down a little further for you all. So, based on a lot of that earlier math, I do want to briefly cover this Transcendence expansion package, since it is the same as the other $100 packages, but includes a light and dark selection chest. If you value Cores of Transcendence at 1,500 gems each, which you effectively have to, as the only way to purchase them is 1,500 gems each, and you value the light and dark selection chest at 3,875 gems like I do, then this is a pretty good value pack. It's worth about 313 gems per dollar, and is right on par with the other sort of one-off special value packs we get for $50 or $100. So even if you are a mid-spender, I would recommend getting this pack. Even if you don't plan on getting 300 summons anytime soon, the 15 5-star heroes plus the 1 hero of your choice is definitely worth this, especially compared to the normal $100 core package. So now to put all of that value analysis and comparison into a real-world scenario. So if you hoard heroic scrolls for 10 months, assuming you get 10 a day, you'll have 3,000 heroic scrolls to use during the anniversary and Christmas events. So if you do 2,000 scrolls on anniversary for 4 loops, and 1,000 on Christmas for 2 loops, in the end, you will end up with 15.5 copies of your desired elite heroes. Some of these will come from the event, some of these will come from guaranteed rewards, some of these will come from the altar. 170 5-star food heroes, 2 pay-to-win artifacts, 90 profit orbs, 30 soul stones, and 90 relics. In the end, those relics are going to be worth another 1 to 2 heroes, and those profit orbs will be worth about 4 heroes. So in the end, you'll probably get about 20 of your desired heroes plus food, and 2 pay-to-win artifacts. On the flip side, if you get 300 Cores of Transcendence over the course of 300 days, so roughly the same time period, and you use them whenever you get 300, assuming that there's never an event, in the end, you will get 1 Void hero, 9.5 copies of your desired normal hero, 4.2 copies of your desired elite light and dark hero, 1.3 acceptable light and dark heroes, again assuming the 6 heroes from earlier, and 2.5 copies of an acceptable non-light and dark hero, again assuming 8 heroes are desirable to you. I think these numbers are lower, but it's up to you. As well as 282 5-star food heroes. So you end up with a little lower number for your desired elite heroes, but you do get to pick them as opposed to just getting whoever the event is at the time. So a slight benefit there. And if you include the acceptable heroes, it's roughly the same, and almost 110 more food copies. So in the end, as a free-to-play or low spender, what you need to weigh is 1 Void Shia worth 2 pay-to-win artifacts, 90 profit orbs, and 30 soul stones, really. And honestly, the profit orbs will end up washing out with the 110 light copies. So do you think 1 Void Shia, or any Void hero, 300 days is a lot, there could be more, do you think 1 Void hero will improve your team more than 2 pay-to-win artifacts? If so, feel free to spend gems on the Cores of Transcendence. Note that this path does cost a little more, as it is 1,500 gems per day as opposed to 1,250 gems per day. Keep that in mind. Or do you think the pay-to-win artifacts will increase your team better? Personally, I'm going to lean towards the heroic scrolls still on my free and low spending accounts, but on my main account, I think I am going to push more for Cores of Transcendence. Maybe not buying one every day, but maybe buying one every few days and so on. So that's it for the sort of event comparison and real world breakdown. I just want to cover a few more things in game and then I promise we will wrap up. Alright, so we are back in game. I know that was a ton of math, a ton of value, but I wanted to cover one more sort of secret tip, and this idea did come from GDP, so I want to give him credit, as well as give you guys my TLDR again, even though I did mostly just cover it. So first of all, you can get a Void Hero for $1,550 if you have a little bit of patience. What you do is you only buy the $50 pack from here, as if you haven't noticed, for $50 you get 8 cores, or 100 you get 15, so this is actually 16 cores for every $100. If you buy 31 of these packages, so if they're monthly it will take you 3 months, you will get 248 cores from the package, and 51 cores just by spending these gems, so no other influence, which is 299 cores, or almost a full loop. So you just need 1,500 gems on your own. So it's about $300 cheaper if you're willing to wait a couple months. So if you do want a Void Shia, but you don't want to spend on day one, I highly recommend you going this route. I'm personally just going to pick up packages like this and slowly see what I get. Even just the Core of Transcendence summons are going to be valuable for me. Maybe eventually I'll whale, maybe on my girl Queen or my boy Asmo, we'll have to see. So, time for the TLDR. TLDR, as a free-to-play player, ignore Cores of Transcendence, wait your 250 or less days, and summon a Void Hero, whoever is most meta or relevant to you at the time, using your 5 million Crystals of Transcendence. As a low to mid spender, I recommend the exact same thing, maybe occasionally buying a Core of Transcendence if you find yourself with an overabundance of gems. As a high spender, but not a mega whale, really a mid to high spender, it is up to you. Effectively, the choice boils down to 2 pay-to-win artifacts plus some potential bonus rewards at Christmas and Anniversary, or 1 Void Hero a year. I'm going to lean to some sort of split between the two and end up not optimizing either, but you can't go wrong picking either path, I think. Assuming that Void doesn't completely shatter the meta. If every team in the future is 6 Void Heroes, you would obviously be better off foregoing Heroic Scrolls and going with the Cores of Transcendence. That's partially why I'm going to split the difference. I eventually see my team, one day down the future being maybe 3-3, but honestly, no one knows what the meta is. It's all pure speculation at this point. And the TLDR for Mega Whales is spend your $1,870 and get her on day 1. Spend another $1,870 and get your 5 million Stellar Shards to power her up, and then save the 5 million Crystals of Transcendence you get for the next hero. Don't triple up. So that's finally going to be it for this video, but be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons if you like the content, and stay tuned later today where I actually show off some Void summoning loops. Catch you guys tomorrow.